Hi, I'm Blake Alexander, and this is my Module 5, Continuous Improvement, my story for AEP 858. Um, so what I found on Twitter was from James Olu. I couldn't find a way to embed it um, specifically, so I added the link down there and I copy and pasted some information from it. But what it says is poverty. If we look at the percentage of families in a city making less than $30,000 per year and the percentage of students in that city proficient on NAEP tests, we find that the two variables have an almost perfect negative correlation. So in other words, the higher the percentage of families in a city making less than $30,000, the lower the test scores. Um, and that just comes into play here with my data and my school and some different things. So about State Street, here's some demographics from my school. First off, gender is pretty equal. We're 49.3% female and 50.7% male. When it comes to being economically disadvantaged, we are at 82.16%, while the state average is at 47.3%. Also, when it comes to ELL students, we're at 15.18%, and the state is at 9.54%. And when it comes to students with disabilities, we are at 24.49%, and the state is at 15.17%. Looking at race and ethnicity, we are mostly Hispanic and white, and we have lower numbers of African American students. I think it's around 7%. So where are we now and where do we want to be? So looking at our math scores, comparing them to our other scores are really pretty good. So if you're looking at them, we're right around the state average. If you look, we have, in the 4 levels. So, level 1 we can consider beginning or doesn't understand. Level 2 is developmental, still improving. Level 3 is where it's at proficient, and 4 is advanced. So looking at that, we have less students at level 1 than the state average. So that's good. That's something that we're always looking for. And especially comparative to the district, we're ahead of the district when it comes to our math scores. But when we go look at our ELA scores, it's kind of on the opposite end. There's been a really big focus at our school for us. We have been at 42.85% at level 1 in 2018. I mean, we were almost 90% below proficient in reading in 2018. So that's been a huge focus for our school. So where we're at definitely needs to improve. And if you look to 2019, you can see that we did make improvement towards our goal. It's still not where we want to be, but we did move a lot of level 1 students up to level 2. So still a lot of improvement, and we definitely are not where we want to be. So where do we want to be? We want to be at the state average. And once we are at that state average, we want to continue to improve on it every single year. So even though our math scores are pretty close to the state average, our main thing in math is to improve on every year, is to move kids out of that level 1 into level 2 and move kids from that level 2 up into level 3. And if you look at our math, we've kind of been doing that. We're on a good trend there. When we look at our ELA, we have improved from 2018 and 19. But we're still not where we want to be, which is at the state average or a little bit better. So we got a long ways to go. So how did we get to where we're at now? Traditional ways of teaching, lack of community outreach, reaching out to our community and other resources, lack of parent involvement. Most of our parents don't have a lot of formal education or college degrees. So we really got to get them involved and get them reading to their kids earlier. We also have been kind of understaffed in reading or reading specific teachers. And then we are getting, a late start for a lot of our kids. They're not coming in as ready as a lot of other schools. They're not coming in, with a lot of knowledge of their letters or letter sounds or their math compared to where most schools are at. So how are we going to get where we want to be? So first we got to study our data. We got to find holes in the curriculum, and we got to put in interventions to help these holes. So if they're struggling in one area, we need to find that area and target it to improve. Also, we need to just make sure that our students are reading, getting parents involved, really intervening and working with parents at an early age to get them, reading to them or sitting down and reading a little bit every single day with their kids from the time, they're really young, before they're in preschool, before they're in kindergarten. And that's a big focus of our district right now is getting a lot more kids into preschool. And then lastly is to develop our staff and developing students' critical thinking. Whatever development they need in those areas that students need to improve, we need to be able to help them with that and get our teachers, some professional development on that. Okay, and then lastly is what we're doing making a difference. By looking at the data just from 2018 to 2019, you can definitely see the increase in our students that have moved from level 1 to level 2. So we've decreased that number of students. Especially in math, you can see it. We're still not as we still don't have quite as many students in the proficient and advanced levels as we'd like, but we're still pretty close to that state average. So like I said before, our goal would be just to keep improving these numbers and keep shifting them towards level 4 the best that we can. And ELA, again, what we're doing is making somewhat of a difference. You can see that we went from 42.85% students in level 1 to 36. We increased our number, 36 to 40. And we went from, having about 16% of kids that were proficient or above to having 21% proficient or above. So we did show increase. What we're doing is definitely making a difference. Not as much as we'd like. So we're hoping in another year or two, if we stay on this trend, we will be catching the state average. And then that is my presentation, I believe. Thank you for watching.